Ladies, let me tell you something right now. When a man hurts you, he expects you to fall apart. That's the game he's played so many times. He's already rehearsing your meltdown before he even tells the lie or walks out the door. But let me teach you something real. The most shocking, confusing, and powerful thing you can do in that moment is not fall apart. See, when somebody hurts you, your first instinct is to cry, yell, send a long paragraph, or try to make him see what he's lost, but you've given him exactly what he expects. And when someone expects chaos, the most confusing thing you can do is give him calm. You don't confuse a man by getting loud. You confuse him by getting silent. When you hurt, elevate. Don't call him. Don't text him. Don't ask him to explain what he already knew would hurt you. He's not confused. He made a choice. So now it's your turn to make one. Make a choice to walk with dignity. Make a choice to heal without an audience. Make a choice to level up so high that when he looks up to find you, he can't reach you anymore. See, here's what most people don't understand. A man is used to seeing women break. He's used to women fighting for him after he's disrespected them. So when you don't show up to that battlefield, now he's rattled. And let me be clear, it's not about revenge, it's about redirection. Don't focus on hurting him back. Focus on loving yourself forward. Fix your crown, not to show him what he lost, but because you were never supposed to lower it for him in the first place. Go build, go heal, go smile so hard people think you in love, when really you just at peace. When a man hurts you, confuse him with your glow, not your pain. Shine so hard he can't even look directly at you anymore. That's how you win. That's how you confuse him. And that's how you never lose you. Emotional intelligence over reaction is the first step in turning pain into power. When a man hurts you, your instinct may be to confront him, lash out, or try to force him to understand the damage he's done. But here's the truth. Reacting emotionally in that moment doesn't bring you peace. It gives him power. A person who chooses to hurt you is often already expecting that reaction. He's counting on your tears, your confusion, your questions. He's bracing for the outburst because that keeps the focus on your response instead of his wrongdoing. But when you lead with emotional intelligence instead of emotion, the whole dynamic changes. Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize what you're feeling, pause, and choose your response with intention instead of impulse. It means that even though your heart is bruised, you don't let your pain write your script. You don't hand your emotions over to someone who has already shown they don't know how to handle it. You confuse him when you choose clarity over chaos. See, there's power in not responding how he expects. When you keep your composure, it forces him to look at himself. He doesn't get the satisfaction of seeing you fall apart. Instead, he's left with silence. And silence is loud when it follows wrongdoing. Think about it. A man who knows he's done wrong walks away, half expecting you to blow up his phone, send angry texts, ask him to explain himself, beg for closure. But when you don't, that absence becomes a mirror. It's not that you're avoiding the pain, it's that you're processing it on your own terms with maturity. That's emotional intelligence. Now, don't confuse emotional intelligence with pretending to be okay. It isn't about bottling your emotions or pretending like you don't care. It's about acknowledging what you feel and choosing how you express it. It's saying, I'm hurt, but I still respect myself too much to act out of pain. That level of control, that rattles people, especially someone who expected to break you. And here's another thing. Emotional intelligence allows you to see the situation clearly. When you don't react emotionally, you start to recognize patterns. You see the manipulation. You see where he stopped trying. You see that it wasn't about you lacking anything. It was about his inability to love you right. When you react emotionally, that vision gets blurry. You get tangled up in the moment, the history, the hope. But when you stay grounded, you step out of the storm and see things for what they are, That clarity gives you your power back. You start asking different questions. Not why did he do this, but why am I staying here? Not how could he treat me like this, but what does this teach me about what I deserve? Emotional intelligence turns heartbreak into a turning point instead of a breakdown. The best part, it doesn't just confuse him, it strengthens you. Every time you choose not to respond emotionally, you build discipline, you build inner peace. You stop giving people the blueprint to destroy your peace. And eventually, the person who hurt you has to sit with the fact that not only did he lose you, he didn't even get the satisfaction of seeing you break. There's something deeply unsettling to a person who expects drama and gets dignity instead. He doesn't know what to do with that. He expected a storm, you gave him stillness. That stillness forces him to sit with what he's done without the distraction of your emotional reaction. And that right there is what truly confuses him. So the next time someone tries to shake your spirit, don't respond the way they expect. Respond like a woman who knows her worth, like a woman who may be hurting but refuses to hand over her peace. That's how you protect your soul. That's how you grow from the pain. And that's how you leave someone completely confused, because nothing throws off someone who thought they had power over you more than realizing they never did. Self-worth is non-negotiable. That means it doesn't rise and fall based on how someone else treats you. It doesn't shrink just because a man couldn't see it, and it doesn't disappear just because he walked away. Your worth is not a debate. It's not up for discussion. It's not determined by the way someone loves you or fails to. And when a man hurts you, that's the very thing he hopes you'll forget. He hopes you'll tie your value to his behavior. He hopes you'll question yourself instead of questioning why you gave so much to someone who gave so little. But the moment you remember that your word is fixed, solid, and unshakable, the game changes. You no longer beg for clarity. You stop trying to prove yourself. You don't try to convince him that you were enough. Why? Because you know you are more than enough, and what he did says more about him than it ever could about you. See, when a woman forgets her worth, she starts negotiating her dignity. She starts compromising her standards. She stays in places where she's not valued because she thinks love means endurance. But love without respect isn't love. It's emotional labor with no return. And once you truly understand your worth, you stop overextending yourself in places that underappreciate you. Let's be real. A man will treat you according to the standard you set for yourself. If you carry yourself like someone who deserves loyalty, peace, and consistency, you teach him how to treat you without saying a word. But if you accept breadcrumbs, if you excuse disrespect, if you keep coming back every time he disappears, you're showing him your self-worth is negotiable. And that's dangerous. Now, here's what really confuses a man. When you stop trying to make him see your value and simply walk like you already know it. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop asking him to change, when you stop showing up for a love that doesn't show up for you, that confidence is louder than any argument. It's more powerful than any tearful plea, because it says, I'm not staying where I'm not honored. I'm not shrinking to fit into your world. I know who I am, and I don't need you to validate that. And that kind of strength, that's hard to ignore. It forces him to face what he lost. Not because you're trying to make him regret it, but because your presence was powerful and your exit was quiet. No drama, no breakdown, no warning. Just a woman who realized she didn't need to be in a space that didn't know how to hold her heart. The truth is, your self-worth isn't proved by how long you stay. Sometimes it's proved by how quickly you leave when you see a red flag. It's in how you protect your peace, how you guard your energy, how you choose yourself even when it hurts. That's the part a man doesn't expect. He expects you to stay broken. He expects you to stay reachable. He expects you to keep the door open. But when you know your worth, you don't leave the door cracked. You close it, locking, and throw the key where your peace lives. Think for a second that walking away means you're not hurting. You are, but you've decided that your heart deserves better than confusion, that your soul deserves more than half love, that your future deserves to be built on something solid, not scattered apologies and empty promises. And that decision, that bold choice to protect your self-worth, is what makes you unstoppable. You confuse a man most when you let him go without begging, when you stop fighting for his attention and start protecting your energy, when you stop chasing closure and start giving yourself permission to heal. Because the loudest message you can send after being hurt is not revenge, not resentment, not rage. It's radiating confidence, peace, and self-respect that your worth was never in question. You just needed the moment of heartbreak to remind you that it's not tied to who stays or who leaves. It's yours. Always has been, always will be. Peace is power. And when you've been hurt, that's the last thing someone expects you to hold on to. They expect you to fall apart, to scream, to beg, to cry out in frustration, because chaos is the usual reaction to pain. But when you choose peace instead of panic, stillness instead of shouting, clarity instead of confusion, that's when you take your power back without ever raising your voice. See, peace is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of strength. It's the calm that comes when you know you don't need to argue with someone who already made their decision. It's the quiet that follows when you refuse to chase after someone who chose to walk away. When a man hurts you and you respond with grace instead of games, you take him by surprise. You create space where he expected drama. You show control where he anticipated collapse. It's easy to react. It's easy to match energy, but matching energy only pulls you into his level, especially if his energy is rooted in confusion, dishonesty, or emotional immaturity. You elevate by choosing not to play the game at all, because the minute you show that your peace can't be disturbed, he loses the one thing he thought he had: control over your emotion. A peaceful woman is powerful because she's not led by impulse. She doesn't argue for attention. She doesn't perform for validation. She lets go without burning down the bridge. And let me tell you something. Nothing confuses a man more than a woman who walks away without needing to prove a point. When you stay focused on your peace, you're not avoiding your feelings, you're mastering them. You're choosing not to let temporary pain destroy your long-term healing. Peace isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's saying, I could react, but I won't. I could argue, but I'm done explaining my work. I could cry in front of you, but I'd rather protect my spirit. That level of emotional maturity speaks volumes. And the silence that follows your decision to protect your peace, that silence will echo in places your words never could. A man who thought he had you wrapped up in his chaos won't know what to do when you go quiet, when you stop chasing closure, when you stop showing up to conversations that only leave you drained. Peace doesn't need to announce itself. It just changes the atmosphere. He'll feel it when you stop texting, when you stop defending yourself, when you stop making excuses for him and start making space for you. That peace will show up in how you move, in how you take care of yourself, in how you glow without needing his approval. It'll show in the way your voice gets softer, not because you're afraid, but because you're free. And that will confuse him because he was ready for a storm, but you gave him a sunrise instead. You don't need to curse him out. You don't need to get revenge. Your peace is the proof that you're already winning. Let him watch you heal without his help. Let him watch you laugh without faking it. Let him see you live like you were never broken, because the truth is you were never broken, just bent, just bruised. But peace has a way of putting you back together in silence. And when you stop handing your peace to people who didn't earn it, you start living a different kind of life. One where you sleep better, you breathe deeper, you attract better. Because peace doesn't just protect you from chaos, it attracts everything you deserve. So when a man hurts you, don't try to out-argue him, don't try to make him understand. Just sit back, protect your peace, and let the silence speak for you. That's how you keep your crown on. That's how you move like royalty in the middle of a storm. And that's how you confuse someone who thought they could shatter you. Peace is not passive. It's power. And when you hold on to it, you don't just survive the pain, you rise above it. Quietly, boldly, completely. Growth is the best revenge. Not the kind that screams, look what you lost, but the kind that whispers, look who I became. When a man hurts you, you have a choice. You can stay stuck in the pain, or you can let that pain become the fuel that propels you into your next level. And let's be honest, when someone expects you to crumble, the most powerful thing you can do is rise. Quietly, consistently, unapologetically. You don't confuse a man by trying to make him feel what you felt. You confuse him by making a decision to evolve so deeply that the version of you he hurt no longer exists. When you stop asking why he did what he did and start asking what you're going to do with the lesson, that's when growth begins. That's when you step out of the identity of the woman who got hurt and into the identity of the woman who refused to stay broken. Growth is personal. It's not about proving anything to him. It's about showing everything to yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, yes, that hurt, but it didn't destroy me. In fact, it woke me up. It woke you up to how much you'd been settling. It woke you up to the patterns you were repeating. It woke you up to the fact that you were pouring into someone who didn't even bring a cup. And so now the new version of you is intentional. You heal differently. You speak differently. You don't move from desperation, you move from clarity. You start choosing your peace over your pride. You stop waiting for apologies and start giving yourself closure. That is the kind of growth no one can ignore, especially not the one who once thought he could break you. Because let's be real, nothing is more confusing to someone who thought they had a hold on you than watching you outgrow the need for their validation, watching you thrive, watching you shine in spaces they never supported, is watching you attract healthier friendships, better opportunities, deeper joy, and all without ever speaking their name. See, real growth is loud in its results, but silent in its process. You're not out here making announcements, you're just making moves. You reading more, praying more, working on your goals, smiling for real this time. You got it taught you discernment. That abandonment taught you how to stand alone. That disrespect taught you how to set boundaries. And that heartbreak taught you what real love should never feel like. You're no longer looking back. You're not rehearsing the story. You're rewriting it. And in that process, you stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start declaring, look at who I'm becoming. Let him watch if he wants to. Let him scroll through your progress, hear about your glow up, feel your absence. That's not your focus. That's just the echo of the growth you chose. You didn't do it for revenge, but there's no denying the irony. The best revenge was never in hurting him back. It was in healing yourself forward. When you grow, you send a clear message, one that doesn't need words. You say, I learned, I leveled up, I let go. And in doing so, you confuse the man who expected you to stay in the wreckage. Who thought you'd call, beg, stay small, but instead you built something out of the ashes, yourself. So let the healing be louder than the hurt. Let your progress be the paragraph you never had to write. Let your peace, your power, your joy, your self-respect be the answer to every what happened that he never asked. Growth isn't just about moving on. It's about moving up. And when you do that, You don't just confuse the man who hurt you, you inspire the woman you're becoming. And she, that new, healed, unshakable version of you, is the best comeback there is. So in the end, when a man hurts you, your power isn't in how loud you respond. It's in how wisely you rise. It's in choosing emotional intelligence over reaction, knowing your worth without needing validation, protecting your peace like it's gold, and growing so strong that you leave no space for regret, only lessons and elevation. You don't win by making noise, you win by making progress. You don't confuse them with chaos, you confuse them with your calm, your glow, your silence, and your strength. Because nothing leaves a deeper impression than a woman who was expected to break, but chose instead to become unstoppable. Let the pain push you, let the peace hold you, and let the growth carry you. That's the real victory. That's the lasting revenge.